Oh, come on. Still in pain? Thought your pastor could fix this. Or did God ghost you?
Maybe it's karma. We atheists seem to have it better.
Where were you when God laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? When God made the clouds their garment and wrapped it in thick darkness? When God fixed limits for it and set its doors and bars in place? When God said, "This far you may come and no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt." All right, visitors, I question you and you must answer me. Before you doubted, before you feared, there was a voice that asked, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Before your battles, before your birth, the stars knew your name. You were imagined into the cosmos, and the universe paused to listen. The same hands that shaped the galaxies laid the very ground beneath your feet. The oceans obeyed his breath, mountains stood still at his whisper. You are not a mistake, you are not a moment, you are part of a divine architecture, a design that began before time. Every line, every breath, every heartbeat, measured, counted, cherished. Every great structure begins with a cornerstone. So did you. You were laid with care, built to endure storms, framed with strength, rooted in something eternal. You are not fragile. You are not forgotten. You were built to rise. You are built on something eternal. Your pain has proportion. When you were imagined, the stars themselves sang, the heavens danced, and angels celebrated your existence. You are not alone. You are celebrated. You are joyfully made, by joy, for joy. Rest now, in knowing you were imagined with joy, crafted with delight, and released into time with purpose. You are here now, still part of the story that began before time. Sleep in peace. You are not lost. You are not alone. You are held in a design that will never collapse. You are stardust. You are a soul. You are seen.
Get science. The universe is spontaneous.
Then why do you ache and wonder when your child laughs? Why does sorrow move you if there's no design? Faith doesn't deny pain. It walks with it.
Whatever.
Excuse me.
Why are you walking away now? You just mocked my patient in her pain. You said there is no God because you're able and fit today.
But the hospital bed awaits when the body reminds you it's dust. And in that moment, you'll sense it. No one will need to preach. There is a supremacy behind the curtain of filaments.
Woman in red turns back and fiery.
Can you imagine? The nurse said God is closer than your skin. Where does he get all that from? All these religion books are memoirs, just like museum collections, dusty and romanticized. I didn't leave because he questioned me about existence and measurement. I left because I have real things to do, contracts to sign. Money counts. Believing in fallacies won't heal her. If anything, a morphine shot would bring her more peace than silent prayers.
The woman in red smirked and said,
I'm not a witch. I'm just factual. I face the world the way it throws the ball. My parents did the same when it was their time to pass. No prayers, just ease. And I inherited all their wealth.
The woman in red locks eyes with nurse.
You chose to be mediocre. I was born for wealth. I've never been sick or lacked anything, and I won't pretend pain has purpose. What's prayer for anyway? You tell me.
The nurse firmly said to them. Dear visitors, you never answered my questions. She pauses. The hallway tightens with silence. I'd say, that's a take home for you.
The nurse turns to Sarah with gentle reassurance.
Sarah, the medical team will see you about your choice of transfer home proposed to the hospital.
As the visitor's words echo in the air, an invisible hand strengthens Sarah's faith. Though sighing in pain and agony, she reflects deeply. God's mercy, provision, protection, and unexplainable grace through every season of her life. Sarah whispers in prayers. Memories of God's goodness flood her mind. The second chance at life, surviving among her mother's 10 children when others had fallen. Many in her family never reached 80, most passing away before 55 under miserable conditions. Sarah's eyes well with tears. She recalls, even the woman mocking her is childless, and none in her family aged past 70. Though they were wealthy, the city whispered of the power behind their untimely deaths and mysterious dreams that no one dared speak of. Sarah reflects deeply. Her ancestors warned, when a dream reveals a mystery and you dare speak it aloud, it shall surely manifest. With a trembling but firm voice, Sarah whispers, Sarah straining her voice.
So tell me, what is confusing about the fact that there is a God?
A tear slips down her cheek. The nurse kneels beside her and gently holds her hand. The nurse humbly said,
Even in silence, he's closer than your skin.
Woman in red stares, visibly shaken. Her expression softens. She opens her mouth to speak but says nothing. One by one, the visitors leave, quietly. At Sarah's residence, daytime. Her family photos adorn the walls, and medical equipment is subtly integrated into the home environment. Sarah, with the assistance of a mobility aid, takes her first steps across the room. Her husband watches with a mix of relief and joy. A caregiver from the Allied Health Team provides gentle encouragement. Sarah smiling.
I never thought I'd walk through this room again on my own.
Caregiver answered her.
Your determination is inspiring, Sarah. Home truly has its healing touch.
At the airport terminal. There are bright lighting. Press and media move about as a private aircraft awaits her on the tarmac. The woman in red stands tall, giving a confident press interview. She's dressed sharply, a designer dog carrier by her side. Reporter approached her.
How do you balance faith, politics, and finance in today's global climate?
She answered, smiling with pride.
I don't. I live by fact, not fiction. You win by seizing moments, not praying through pain.
Suddenly, the latch on her dog carrier snaps. The small dog jumps out, weaving through security staff. Woman in red said,
No, stay, come back.
She turns abruptly on her high heels, twisting her ankle. She falls hard onto the tiled floor, head striking the edge of a bench. Gasps fill the terminal. A camera crew freezes, then resumes filming. It's a live political feature. A paramedic rushes in with a stretcher as onlookers form a circle. The woman's limbs twitch, then fall still. Her eyes flutter. She tries to speak, but her mouth doesn't respond. Panic sets in. Paramedic said, Mom, can you hear me? Can you move your fingers? No response. She blinks once. Cameras still roll. As she's placed on the stretcher, a voice echoes in her mind. Voice echoing in her head.
Where were you when the foundations of the earth were laid?
Paramedic gently asked. When did you last visit a hospital? The woman's eyes widen. The memory of the nurse's voice pierces her consciousness.
Even in silence, he's closer than your skin.
The woman in red lies in a hospital bed, her once confident demeanor replaced by vulnerability. Monitors beep softly in the background. Then a nurse enters, checking her vitals. The woman in red's eyes well up with tears. Woman in red, whispering.
Can you bring me that nurse, the one who asked, "Where were you when—"
Nurse answered softly, "Yes, of course." Not today. I learned he's on leave for 2 months.
The room is dimly lit. Monitors beep softly. The woman in red lies unconscious, her face pale with a bandage on her forehead. A nurse adjusts the IV drip. Nurse softly to herself. Hang in there. The nurse exits, leaving the room silent. The woman in red stands alone in an endless white void, dreaming. A figure cloaked in light approaches her. The figure said,
I have come in light, not to oppose, but to empower.
Woman in red became confused.
Oppose what? Empower what?
The figure fades away. Darkness envelops the scene. Then, a distant echo of the nurse's voice cut through to her.
Where were you when...
That night, the woman in red jolts awake, breathing heavily. She looks around, disoriented. Woman in red whispers.
Goodness! It was just a dream, or was it?
She notices a small Bible on the bedside table with a note. You are not alone. Tears well up in her eyes. Clearly again.
I have come in light, not to oppose, but to empower.
She turns toward the voice but sees no one. The shadows intensify, swirling around her. Where were you when... The room begins to shake. The woman in red clutches her head, overwhelmed. She clutches the note to her chest, tears streaming down her face. Sarah, gentle and composed, enters the room, carrying a small bouquet of fresh flowers on her walker.
Good morning, dear.
The woman in red opens her eyes slowly, adjusting to the light. Woman in red screamed.
Sarah, Sarah.
Yes, it's me. I thought some fresh flowers might brighten your day.
Sarah places the flowers on the bedside table.
Thank you, they're lovely.
Sarah sits beside her, taking her hand gently. Sarah said,
I had a dream last night.
Another one of your visions?
Sarah narrated her dream to her.
Yes. In it, I saw you surrounded by light, holding a child. 2 nations stood behind you, united by your legacy.
Woman in red answered,
That's quite a dream.
I believe it's a sign that your journey is far from over.
The woman in red looks away, tears welling up.
I don't know if I can believe that.
Sarah said,
Belief isn't always easy, but sometimes it's all we have.
They sit in silence, the weight of the moment settling. One of the nurses enters, carrying a tray with medication and a glass of water.
Good evening. Time for your medication.
The woman in red turns her head slowly, eyes filled with despair.
I don't want it.
It's important for your recovery.
Woman in red answered.
Recovery? From what? A life I no longer recognize?
The nurse places the tray on the bedside table, concern etched on her face. Which kind woman be this, Ain? I understand this is difficult, but... Woman in red replied.
Do you? Do you know what it's like to lose everything that defined you? I had control, power, freedom. Now I'm a prisoner in my own body.
She turns away, tears streaming down her face.
Sometimes, when we lose everything, we find what truly matters.
Spare me the cliches.
They're only cliches because they're often true.
The nurse gently places the medication on the bedside.
I'll leave this here. Take it when you're ready.
She exits, leaving the woman in red alone. The woman in red stares at the medication, her reflection visible in the glass of water. She reaches out, hesitates, then pulls her hand back. Say RAH, whispering,
God, grant me strength, even if she despises me. I have delivered what you placed in my heart.
The woman in red lies motionless, washed in muted daylight through Venetian blinds. The door creaks. Nurse quietly enters, clipboard in hand and smiling softly.
Lunch choices, ma'am? Chicken or pasta today?
Woman in red's voice sharp, trembling.
Everyone is trespassing on me. Tell the doctor, I want this pregnancy gone. Sedate me. End it now. My part is done. Savor your breath.
The nurse's polite smile fades instantly. Woman in red wailed in pain and anguish.
Where were you? When did my spirit break?
The door creaks again. A second nurse enters, carrying a tray of medication. The nurse softly said,
Zrania, have we met before?
The woman in red turns her head sharply. SARAH voiced.
Stop struggling. You're so loved.
The woman in red shakes her head violently. Woman in red hoarse, breaking inside.
Fables, fallacies, lies, all in the name of faith and controversial slavery.
Tears spill down her cheeks. She flashback moment at the extension. Airport tarmac. Giddy laughter between her and a business associate under the floodlights of champagne a night before the horrible incident. Woman in red whispered.
It wasn't supposed to matter.
She dreamt. A man, cloaked in brilliant light, descends a garden path. She was terrified.
Oppose what? Empower what?
Her trembling hands were on her swollen belly. Woman in red, broken in whisper.
I hate that I shared my depth with you, Sarah.
Do what you please, woman in red. I have delivered the message.
Sarah wheels away, sobbing. Sarah alone by a marble fountain, golden rays bathing her as she awaits patient transport to pick her up. SARAH, whispering.
Lord, complete what you have started.
The woman in red lies awake, bump pronounced day by day.
I was supposed to pass on, yet.
As her hands touched her belly in her motionless state, Sarah's dream echoed to her.
2 nations shall own your legacy. You can't do it alone.
The woman in red's face crumpling into tears, she said.
I hated you, whoever you are, for knowing me, for loving me.
The woman in red was supported to sit up, sunlight streaming through the blinds.
How should I address you, Infinite? Where were you? When did I